one of the key things off the top that is really bothersome. And there are some people said, hey, I never knew you did this show, that sort of thing. Every single Monday night for 30 minutes before the kickoff, we go ahead and roll with this show. It happens every single week. It's going to continue through the rest of the season. So hope you guys enjoy it. Check out, if you miss it on the show, you don't want to watch the video, you just want to listen to it on the podcast on 2x speed or something like that. You can always subscribe to the Sharp Football Analysis podcast. That's up on iTunes, and you can find all the show there. So with that said, we got a pretty packed show. So let's go ahead and you're talking about the Cowboys there. We're going to be talking about Jason Garrett momentarily. That's definitely happening. So let's go ahead and get started with the show. First, we cannot start this show without talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and just a completely moronic game plan implemented by the Steelers. I really didn't understand it whatsoever, but let's go ahead and break it down. So let's pretend you're sitting in the Steelers seat and you're game planning for this. You're going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, analytics show this. I told you guys about this on the last week's show. Jacksonville has the number one defense against the pass. They have the NFL's worst defense against the run. Le'Veon Bell had just started getting it going last week against the Baltimore Ravens on the road in Baltimore. What better time? No better time than to continue rolling at home against this number 32 ranked run defense with Le'Veon Bell just getting it going. And the key to the Steelers, if you guys don't know this already, their defense is not as good as what it used to be. They need to get Le'Veon Bell going. And the first few weeks of the season, they did not have Le'Veon Bell going. And part of the reason at least, was because of the simple fact that he was off of layoff. He didn't participate with the team in training camp, so they needed to get him going. So what ended up happening? In the first quarter, they get out the gates, 6 Le'Veon Bell runs, 50% success rate on those 6 runs. He averaged 4.2 yards per carry. Now the team threw 9 pass attempts from Ben, 44% success rate, only 56% completions, which if you think that's good, is actually not all that great. A 44 passer rating, mainly because 1 interception. Now, if you remember that game, if you were watching that game live, the very first pass of the entire game was a deep shot to to Antonio Brown. And I warned on my Roto Grinder show on Friday evening that the one problem that could exist with this Steelers team this week is if they decide to feed AB because he whined and pouted last week. And those wide receivers, they're divas. And when they whine and pout, teams tend to acquiesce and give them a little bit of opportunities. But this game, it was vital to keep Le'Veon Bell involved early and often because the Steelers' run defense is not as good as it's been in 5 years ago. Okay, they're going to have problems against Leonard Fournette. They need to keep Jacksonville off the field and keep Jacksonville at a deficit so that Jacksonville eventually has to turn to the pass. When any team in the future who's playing against Jacksonville, here's the modus operandi. Get Blake Bortles to throw the ball. That's all you have to do if you want to have success against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Make Blake Bortles throw the ball. The way that you do that is you get a lead and you maintain the lead and you leave Jacksonville with as little time as possible, because if they get the ball and they're able to just run Leonard Fournette at you time and time again, they are going to do just that. And if you don't have the lead and you can't force them out of that, you've got a big problem, because there's not very many defenses against the run right now in modern NFL that are going to be able to hold up against Leonard Fournette for the full 60 minutes if you're going to allow him to be able to run the ball against you because the team is in the game. So what ends up happening in quarter 2? Pittsburgh ended quarter 1 with an interception. So they went back in quarter 2, the very first play, actually they gained a first down, then they call out Le'Veon Bell run on 1st and 10. Le'Veon Bell run on 2nd and 8, and then later in that quarter, for the third and only run of the second quarter, Le'Veon Bell run on 2nd and 10. Now, I just talked to you guys, and that was from the Pittsburgh 5, okay? So you're wondering why they didn't have a lot of success running the football. Well, they're backed up at their own end zone, and it's 2nd and 10, and you just threw a pass on 1st down, what do you think is going to happen? The defense knows you're probably going to run the ball in that situation backed up against your end zone. Now, this very show 1 week ago, don't run on 2nd and long. I told you guys this. I flashed up these statistics from all these run-based teams that try to run the ball on 2nd and long, but are actually far more successful when they pass the ball. It was, this is a fact that you should, in the NFL, on 2nd and 10, 2nd and 9, do not run the football. I know coaches seem to think, oh, well, it's a safe move. No, it's a safe move to set yourself up on 3rd and long. If you really want to go 3rd and long, just spike the ball. Just have your quarterback dive. That's even safer than handing the ball off to a running back, because you're not going to have a great success rate handing the ball off to running backs on 2nd and 10. And that's what 2 of those 3 runs for Le'Veon Bell in the 2nd quarter were. So now they're wondering, hey, why is Le'Veon Bell not doing so great? Well, you're giving them ball in stupid situations where the defense knows that this is what's going to happen. Now, start of the 2nd quarter, that's what it was. Pittsburgh 3, Jacksonville 0. I'm going to do a little trivia for you guys. You guys can all participate in the chat. Start of the 2nd quarter, the score is Pittsburgh 3, Jacksonville 0. Over the final 3 quarters, quarters 2, 3, and 4, Pittsburgh has 60 plays in the game. They start the whole thing off leading 3-0. 60 plays, they're at home, they have the lead. How many of those 60 plays do you think were Le'Veon Bell runs? Let's just start throwing out some guesses. How many? 10, 9, 8, 10. See, you guys are too smart. You watch the show. You're already on to something. You know I'm not going to toss this out if they do something normal. So you guys are making some really intelligent guesses here. 15, 9, 6. Here's the number. 46 Ben Roethlisberger passes. 46 Ben Roethlisberger passes. Mind you, 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on those. 46 Ben passes, 9 Le'Veon Bell runs. Out of 60 plays in the second quarter, 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, starting with a lead of 3-0, and in the game until Ben throws multiple pick sixes into the second half. 46 passes, 9 Le'Veon Bell runs. It was absolutely horrendous. Now, here's the other thing that is even more mind-boggling. This is up at Sharp Football Stats. Okay, you can't see this, but I'll go ahead and tell you what it says, and I'll tweet this out later. I already tweeted this. It's in my timeline. From the Pittsburgh 40-yard line to the end zone, they actually had a 71% success rate when they handed the ball off to Le'Veon Bell or to any running back. He was the only one who happened to have a carry. 71% success rate. That was the 2nd best of any team in the NFL. 4.9 yards per carry. And this graphic is also up there. I tweeted it into my timeline. But at Sharp Football Stats, you can actually go and look and visualize it. You could see red X's for runs that were unsuccessful, green triangles for runs that were successful. The bottom line is so many successful runs, 71% obviously. Passes, 29%. They attempted 24 passes, only 7 runs. From their 40 into the end zone, their rushing rate was extremely successful. Now, here is the problem, and we start talking about strength of schedule, and these graphics are up at sharpfootballstats.com. You can go to the strength of schedule. It becomes more and more important as the season progresses. What you'll see here is, if you're looking at this and if you're listening on the podcast later, I'll just go ahead and tell you that the Pittsburgh Steelers faced 3 very bad pass teams to start the season, pass defenses. The Cleveland Browns, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Chicago Bears, 2 of which are playing tonight, Monday Night Football. These teams ranked 22nd or worse in pass defense. That's why they're green over here. Look at this stretch of very difficult pass defenses. The Ravens, the Jaguars. Up next for the Steelers is the Chiefs, the Bengals, and the Lions. It's going to be very difficult strength of schedule gets fully updated Tuesday night every single week. Tuesday night late, I'll update strength of schedule for the upcoming week. But I've already got the scores up there. You can see they're 9-30 loss to the Jaguars at home. It's going to be very difficult for Ben, who's contemplating retirement yet again, to pass the ball successfully against these pass defenses. It's imperative that they get Le'Veon Bell going early and often. Current versus future strength of schedule is pretty straightforward. It's actually past versus future is what the website states, and past is anything that's prior to this current date and time. So when we're looking at Tuesday, Anything that's in the past is going to be weeks 5 and earlier. Anything in the future is week 6 and beyond that has not yet happened. All right, so let's get to a fun segment. We couldn't